The Detroit Lions with a decisive 31-9 victory over their NFC North rivals, the Minnesota Vikings, on Sunday Night Football to sew up the number one seed in the NFC for the first time in team history and earn that first-round bye. That goes along with it. Detroit's won 13 of their last 14 games. They finished perfect within their division for the first time ever. And for more reaction, we're joined by our NFL reporter, Dave Naylor from Ford Field in Detroit. Jahmyr Gibbs, the story in this one. Dave, 4 touchdowns, 20 on the season, most in a single season in Lions franchise history. How impressive was this performance in the most important game of the year for Detroit, Dave?
Well, if there was any doubt that Jahmyr Gibbs is the engine that drives this Lions offense, it was a race tonight. I'll tell you, Jay, when you're at a game here in Ford Field, you can feel the crowd get excited when they start to do Detroit Lion type of things. You know, the first possession, the Lions punt, it's kind of stale in the building. You can feel some nervousness. And then on that second possession, they go for it on fourth down. Jared Goff makes a throw after taking a big hit. He completes it makes it to extend the drive. And then on the very next play, it's Jahmyr Gibbs going 25 yards into the end zone, and it's on. And the atmosphere in the building changes, and all of a sudden, you know, the Lions have their swagger back. The crowd's into the game as well. I mean, you look at Jahmyr Gibbs, since David Montgomery went out at the Buffalo game, Gibbs has had over 150 all-purpose yards in 3 consecutive games. Tonight, he's 139 on the ground, 31 through the air. He had 5 catches. And, you know, it takes me back to training camp of 2023. Jahmyr Gibbs had been the 12th pick of the draft. A lot of people looked at it and said, do you take a running back that high? And I asked Dan Campbell at that training camp, what's the value, the quality that you value most in a running back? He said versatility. We saw that on display tonight with Jahmyr Gibbs. David Montgomery may be back after the Lions get a week off for their first playoff game, but I think what has been proven over the last 3 weeks that as long as Gibbs can stay healthy, he's capable of carrying the mail for Detroit and really, as I say, setting the tone on offense. Didn't hurt that Jared Goff had a great night as well. 2 interceptions that really didn't hurt them. Other than that, only 4 passes hit the ground all night.
Jared Goff had a great night, Dave. Sam Darnold, not so much after such a terrific season. Did you see it as just an off night for Darnold, or should we be giving more credit to this Lions defense?
Oh, I think you got to give a lot of credit to the Lions defense, particularly the secondary and the linebackers. Alex Anzalone coming back, playing his first game since November 17th. Just the communication that he provides for the defense, making plays all over the field. And it was really in the red zone. I mean, the Lions had 4 trips to the red zone. They had 14 plays in the red zone and weren't able to score a touchdown. And so often when Sam Darnold dropped back, it wasn't just him missing targets. It was he couldn't find people. He was buying time. He was scrambling, and that's when he was throwing on the run, when he's trying to buy time, twist and turn. That's not when he's in his best. But you think of what this Vikings offense has been. When you think of T.J. Hawkinson, when you think of Jordan Addison, when you think of Justin Jefferson, Jared Goff threw 23 times in their directions tonight, those 3 players. It's 6 completions for 63 yards. I mean, I don't think anybody saw that. And this isn't a night that when Detroit's secondary is already playing without starting corner Carlton Davis, and they lost Terry and Arnold early in the 3rd quarter. So that's part of the Lions' DNA as well. Injuries don't stop us. We just keep playing. We just keep balling. I was standing in the tunnel when Aaron Glenn, their defensive coordinator, came off the field. The fans are cheering. He pumps his fist at them. I think he was pretty proud of his unit tonight.
Dave, normally you cover the Buffalo Bills for us here on TSN, and they had to wait until Sunday to find out that they will be facing the 7th seed, the Denver Broncos, next week in the wild card round. Dave, how do you think the Bills match up against the Broncos?
Well, from the Bills on offense, a couple of things jump out that Denver does very well. I mean, they're among the highest pressure rates in the NFL, and they led the NFL in sacks. And yet you look at Buffalo, you know, they're a team that gave up the fewest sacks. They also have a very strong play from their tackles to be able to protect Josh Allen. And we know what Josh Allen can do when pressure gets in his face and he can play outside of structure. So I think what Buffalo does on offense, you know, neutralizes what Denver can do on defense. What would scare me a little bit about this in the Bills, if you look at the way that Bo Nix is playing of late, the last 3 games, his completion percentage has been 79%. I mean, that's insane for a rookie quarterback, even over a 3-game stretch in very critical games. If there's been a weakness, a vulnerability of Buffalo's defense this season, it's been being unable to get off the field against highly efficient quarterbacks who could complete short passes and long drives against them. 79% completion percentage really behooves that the Bills are going to have to do some disruption of the line of scrimmage next week against Denver.
All right, looking forward to that one. Looking forward to your coverage of it. Dave Naylor joining us from Ford Field in Detroit.